Nimrod, the return of the Antichrist. I want to move quickly now ahead in this series and come to a conclusion. I want to mention that since the beginning of me putting this series together, I have come under severe personal attack from the enemy, to the point where I was debating today to even come on and finish the series. But we are going to finish this, so I ask that you lift me up in prayer. All right, let's begin Part 6, Nimrod, the return of the Antichrist. All right, what you're looking at is a map of exactly where Nimrod set out to conquer, and this became Babylon. Now, Nimrod, being the very first king, he ended up being a fierce king, a fierce dictator, and he set up a tyrannical government and a mystery religion. And if we're looking at what's going on in the world today in 2013, with the United Nations, the call for a new world order, a one world government, one world financial system, and a one world religion, the spirit of Nimrod is alive and working in 2013, the spirit of the Antichrist. Now, Nimrod set out to have a massive structure built, the Tower of Babel. And a lot of people are wondering, how was this massive structure built? Because they have actually unearthed and uncovered the actual stone, the burnt stone that was used to build, over in Iraq, to build this massive tower. And we got to remember what Scripture tells us. Let's stick to the Word. The giants, the Nephilim, some of them were as tall as the cedars of Lebanon. So we're talking about some of these Nephilim, these giants, being 35 feet in height or greater, and it would be no problem to build such a massive tower and a massive structure. Now, the people under the rule of Nimrod and his wife, which was his mother, Semiramis, they began to carve graven images, statues of both Nimrod and of Semiramis, and bow down before these statues. They bow down before Nimrod as if he was a god or God himself, and they built statues, and they bowed down before Semiramis as if she was a goddess. Now, here's where we're going to step on a lot of toes. We're going to talk now about the wife, the mother/wife of Nimrod, Semiramis. So I'll be right back. All right, now Nimrod's reign was around 400 years, and he met an untimely death. Now, there are many, many stories and a lot of research to uncover how Nimrod may have actually met his demise. And I'm going to, through all the research that I have, I'm going to present what I find to be the most accurate. We've got to remember that Nimrod was a Nephilim. He became a Nephilim and a giant before the Lord. Now, Nimrod married his mother, Semiramis, and you got to remember, back in the time of the giants, the Nephilim, they were into all forms of sorcery and witchcraft and idolatry, and they knew the secrets of the Watchers, and they would commit acts of homosexuality, or they would be asexual, and they would commit acts of bestiality. And I want you to understand something. Recorded down through history, there are accounts of events that have taken place in other cultures, other lands, such as Greece and Egypt. Look at mythology, where they tell stories that are very similar to what we read in the Bible. Now, I just want to explain this. You've got your Greek mythology of giants and gods and creatures that are half human and maybe a half horse, like a centaur. You've got to remember where a lot of this mythology is really not a myth. All right, carrying on. A lot of controversy over how Nimrod came to meet his death. Now, Nimrod did not find any attraction to the opposite sex. He married his mother. He told everyone that she was indeed a virgin. But I'm going to step on a lot of toes, and it's not my intent. But they have a child together, Tammuz. But the child, from the best that I could do throughout my research, numerous hours of research, the child was born after the death of Nimrod. Now we're going to find in Scripture, we're going to find in all types of resources that are available to us different accounts of what happened to cause the death of Nimrod. That there was an argument, a heated argument between him and Abraham, and that there was a conspiracy to have him killed, and that, from all my research, is what really happened. But his wife, Semiramis, was behind the conspiracy to have her husband, her husband Nimrod, killed. What I understand, they had a plan that for 5 days Nimrod was going to go away, and she was going to tell everyone that he had died, and in 5 days he was going to reappear, and it would be like a resurrection. They wanted to bring Nimrod back, a resurrection. All the people now would really bow down to him. So he wrote up an agreement with Semiramis, his wife, that she would rule for the 5 days. So she is behind having him killed. Nimrod is killed and his body is torn to pieces. Now she takes and she uncovers all over Babylon his body and gathers up his body and has his body preserved. The very first process of mummification, using very different perfumes and oils, and his body is preserved. So he doesn't come back. Now everyone is bowing down to Semiramis. She gets pregnant, and she tells everyone that it is from Nimrod that she got pregnant from the rays of the sun. All right? And what I really think from my research is that there was probably some type of an affair that had went on, and she became pregnant. But now they all bow down to Semiramis because 9 months later she gave birth to a male child. And everyone thought this remarkable because they knew that she was a virgin. And this male child was born on December 25th. All right. I want to put together, when we're looking at what happened with the Greek mythology and with ancient history of who really Nimrod was. Nimrod, I want you to understand, was Osiris. They are one in the same. And Semiramis was Isis, depending on the demographics, the location. She was also known as Ishtar. I'll be right back. All right, everyone, you do not want to miss Part 7 coming up. Let me ask you, does this look familiar to you today in any of today's religion? We've got Semiramis, and we've got the baby male child, Nimrod. Semiramis, the queen of heaven. Semiramis, mother of God. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss Part 7.